Madam President.
The senator from Minnesota.
Madam President, I want to thank the senators who did such a tremendous job today, really going through all the arguments for why our democracy is still fragile, why we must stand up for democracy. So many good ideas, and I especially want to thank Senator Whitehouse for never giving up hope when it comes to campaign finance reform. I think of John McCain if he was sitting in here right now. We miss him very much, a friend of both Senator Whitehouse's and mine, and how he stood up for campaign finance reform because he knew it wasn't a Democratic or Republican issue. It was all of our issues. And I think of Senator Merkley's incredible diligence and his incredible command of the rules of the Senate and how we can make this place work better. And then Senator King's very Maine-like independent take on all this. And then, Madam President, your incredible remarks, tying it into, I hadn't thought about that fact that on Veterans Day, which is always after the election, and your dad's words that that's just an election is just a war of words. And it's something you go through in a democracy, and it can be really tough. But it's nothing like a real war when people are putting their lives on the line. So thank you for that. I wanted to turn to two other issues that are still on our plates in such a big, big way. Still integral, actually, to our own democracy and what we stand for. The first one, and I'm going to be putting later on the record some remarks of Senator Durbin, who's been such a big supporter of the Electoral Count Act and the like. This is another area, another important, major moment for democracy that Senator Durbin has been leading on, and that is the urgent need to ensure Dreamers can remain here. I'm proud to support and co-sponsor his efforts in the past on not just the comprehensive immigration reform, which we know included protections for Dreamers that we passed, and I strongly supported out of the Judiciary Committee. When I first got to the Senate, Senator Kennedy asked Senator Whitehouse and myself to be the first new senators involved in the immigration effort, which included protecting Dreamers that President Bush supported. And each time, sadly, we have been stymied in getting this into law. President Obama moved on his own with executive orders to protect Dreamers, and now their status continues to be in limbo. There is an urgent need right now to ensure Dreamers can remain here in the only country that they have ever called home. We know them in our community as teachers and healthcare workers, builders and firefighters, reporters and entrepreneurs. Like generations of immigrants before them, they have made our country better, but for too long their livelihoods have been subject to the whims of court decisions and partisan politics. They are incredibly sad and frustrated that Congress has not been able to come together to make progress. Comprehensive immigration reform should include a pathway to citizenship for Dreamers, or at least right now in this chamber, we should pass the DREAM Act. I have been working on this for years. We have many times come razor thin close to getting it done. We passed a bill in the Senate, then the House doesn't act. We are close to getting a deal even during the Trump administration. Then the Trump administration gut punches us. You, Madam President, were part of that agreement that would have guaranteed a place in our country that's already in our hearts for our Dreamers. We cannot wait another day to pass the American Dream and Promise Act and provide these Dreamers with the stability and security that they deserve. They know no other country. Many of them for decades have been here working. I know that Democrats support this bill, and I know that there are a number of Republicans that do. But we are never able to overcome the opposition on the other side of the aisle that is there to bring it forward. The time is long overdue, and we must pass the DREAM Act. The second issue on my mind tonight is the work that we must do with the Afghan Adjustment Act. This is a bill that I have been working on for the past year. And I want to thank Senator Coons, and I want to thank Senator Lindsey Graham for working with me on this bill. I also want to thank our other co-sponsors, which include Senator Blunt and Senator Blumenthal, Senator Murkowski, Senator Shaheen, Senator Moran, who has joined the bill after we made some changes to strengthen the vetting process. His support is very important. Senator Leahy, Senator Wicker has joined us on this bill now, the incoming ranking member of the Armed Services Committee. Why is that? Because this bill is so important to our military. So many of these Afghans have worked with our military. They had the backs of our military. They were their translators. They did all kinds of very, very difficult jobs to help our military and freedom in Afghanistan. And when they came to this country, so many of them thought we would be there for them. And right now, their situation is tenuous at best. They are in limbo, and I can't tell you how many members of our military have come up and said, I don't understand. The chief of mission has verified their status. Half of the Afghans, roughly half of them that are here right now, have been vouched for by our own military. We have put together the Afghan Adjustment Act based on instructions from the past. We saw what happened, the Vietnamese and the Hmong. I know in my own state, we have the second biggest population of Hmong in the country, that they came here and our country knew that we owed them something because they had stood with us. And we put them on a path that involved green cards, which is what we are doing here. All we're trying to do here is actually more intense than what we did back then. And I just asked the other senators to look at the Hmong and Vietnamese in their own communities. They are now many generations ahead. They are police officers. They are serving in the state legislature. They are pillars of their community. And if in the Afghans we have the same possibility, I remind my colleagues, they are already here. And that is why Senator Wicker has now joined us, because there is the belief, and Senator Graham, I'm hoping that we will have a group come together tomorrow to talk about this. Senator Graham understands as well from his own service, when people have your back overseas in the hardest of times, you do not abandon them when they're in a hard time. That is going to get around the world if we just let them sit in limbo. So this is truly our moment to at least start this process. What does it mean? Well, it means, according to this bill, that we will be doing a vetting of the Afghans who, I note to my colleagues, are already here. They will submit to additional vetting, including in-person interviews. It makes the process much more orderly and much more thorough, which is why you see conservatives joining this bill. This bill has earned the support of some of our nation's most revered military leaders, including Admirals Mike Mullen, William McRaven, James DeRitis, and Generals Richard Myers, Joseph Dunford, Stan McChrystal. They support this bill. The Veterans of Foreign Wars, the VFW, supports this bill. The American Legion supports this bill. Their members have been here in members' offices asking them to support it. I cannot tell you how important it was to Senator Coons and myself to make sure that this bill was bipartisan in nature. And we worked very hard all summer to strengthen the bill, to get at the concerns of our colleagues, and that is why we have such a strong group of senators supporting the bill. This is our moment to get this done. If we are unable to finish it at the end of the year, I consider this not an end, but a beginning. We are so close to getting, as I know from my discussions with my colleagues, more and more Republicans on this bill. I think that is because they understand that if we leave these people who helped us in limbo, what will people think the next time that they ask for our help in another country, in another war, in another conflict? I implore my colleagues to join us in this effort. I'm looking forward tomorrow where we'll have a bipartisan group of senators take the floor, but I didn't want to let another day go by without mentioning how important it is to get this done. Thank you, Madam President. I yield the floor. I know we've been joined by Senator Lee. Thank you.